Up with KREM begins now.
Here we go, 6 o'clock here on your Tuesday. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Up with KREM. I'm Tim Pham.
And I'm Nicole Hernandez. We want to get to I almost said our meteorologist, Thomas Patrick, going to have it, but he's not here today.
That's not me.
It's Brandon T. Jones. Brandon, Thomas did leave you a pretty easy forecast, yeah?
Look at that sunrise.
Can we admire this just for a few moments?
Get
as
into
we
it.
Over,
As
look at
Brandon
that.
T.
Look at the
Jones would
glow.
say. Get into it.
Oh my gosh, the mountains. This is better than a Bob Ross painting. I'm trying to tell you. And guess what? The day is looking exactly like that as well. We're looking at a beautiful spring day ahead of us. Take a look at your weather headlines right there. Mid 70s, not too hot, not too cold, blue skies and sunshine. It's just an overall beautiful day. So we're going to be talking about all of that. We'll get into an extended look, but just one more time, let's appreciate that. Maybe step outdoors really quick. Keep us in your ear though, and we've got you covered with more weather, more news, all of that.
All right, here's a live look at the traffic impact right now in Spokane Valley. You can see traffic flows are moving good in both directions. We're not seeing any major slowdowns at this hour. We're crash free, which is great news to start off this Tuesday morning. We will let you know if any problems pop up on your morning commute. We bring you weather and traffic together every 30 minutes. 6:02 here, breaking overnight. Pro-Palestinian protesters are calling for the University of Washington to cut ties with Boeing. The group blocked off streets, took over the school's engineering building, and even set a dumpster on fire. New this morning, about 30 people who occupied the building were arrested for their alleged involvement in the demonstration. The protest was organized by the group called Super UW. They shared online they were there to support Palestine.
The protesters are asking the school to cut ties with Boeing over the company's defense contracts, specifically what is supporting Israel Defense Forces. The demonstrators took over one of UW's engineering buildings, which got a $10 million donation from Boeing. The protesters stacked furniture near the building's entrances, making it hard to access. Our sister station in Seattle spoke to one of the students about what they're asking for.
Seeing our students being attacked by universities and the police class, we feel it is our time to also escalate our political voice. And so we are here tonight to ask UW, to not even ask UW, to require UW to cut ties with Boeing.
Police cleared out the demonstrators late last night. The students police arrested were charged with trespassing, property destruction, disorderly conduct, and conspiracy to commit. They will be referred to the King County Prosecutor's Office. Also, any other students who were protesting will be referred to the Student Conduct Office.
New this morning, Rite Aid is threatening to close every single one of its pharmacies in Washington. For the second time in a year and a half, the company has declared bankruptcy. The pharmacy wants to either sell or shut down its remaining stores. Rite Aid wrote in a statement, their quote, key priorities are ensuring uninterrupted pharmacy services for our customers and preserving jobs for as many associates as possible. Rite Aid has 95 locations in Washington and 8 in Idaho. This morning, more fallout from the state's budget crisis. Washington's wildfire fighting budget could be cut in half under the proposed budget passed by legislators last month.
State Lands Commissioner Dave Upthegrove called the proposal unacceptable. Legislators proposed this new budget to help get Washington out of its multi-billion-dollar deficit. It cuts state services across the board, even for the Department of Natural Resources. The Lands Commissioner says if Governor Ferguson signs this budget into law, the public would be at risk next year.
The funding next year is woefully inadequate, and we're going to be back to the legislature, and in order to protect public safety, in order to do the work to reduce the risk of wildfire and protect people, we're going to need them to step up.
Bob Ferguson now has 2 weeks to review the budget before he has to decide if he will sign it. And continuing coverage this morning, the Central Valley School District voted yes to send a federal civil rights complaint against the state. They say they are conflicting policies on transgender student-athlete participation in school sports.
KREM 2's Connor McAvoy has more from last night's virtual meeting.
Well, this all comes from what district members say are conflicting powers at be. They say state guidelines on transgender student athletes directly go against federal guidelines, and no matter who they side with, district funding is at risk.
We've been trying to do this for over a month.
Central Valley Board member Anise Barker emphasizes what she says is both an ongoing and urgent need to send a written complaint against the Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction and the Washington Interscholastic Activities Association, or WIAA. The complaint accuses the state of violating protections for student athletes by allowing transgender athletes to compete in sports based on the sex they identify as. Some members say this goes against a federal law protecting from sex-based discrimination in public schools, known as Title IX.
They are competing for second place instead of first because there is a male on their starting line. We have got to protect these girls.
Barker wrote the first of multiple drafts of the complaint addressed to the Office of Civil Rights and the U.S. Department of Education. It argues OSPI and WIAA are going against federal policies by not banning transgender athletes from competing in sports for the sex they weren't assigned at birth. They worry that could ruin $12.8 million in federal funding the district has for the 2024-25 school year. But the decision was met with some opposition.
My great disappointment that we as a school board are not able to find some kind of an alternative to a ban.
Board member Cynthia McMullen spoke against sending the complaint, saying the people she's worried about are different.
It is, in fact, a challenge against students and family members in our community who have self-identified as trans or, in this particular case, trans.
The board ultimately voted 3-2 in favor of sending 2 drafts of the letter, both with similar language. School Board President Stephanie Jordan says while opinions across the board vary, she's relieved the vote went through simply to start a conversation on whose rules to follow.
No one is saying break the law. No one's even saying change policy, but we're bringing this to everyone's attention.
District members say the loss of that funding would impact students and the community. They're hoping a solution can be made by sending both drafts of the letter. They say they'll both be emailed and mailed to those offices. Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.